Section 13 of the Rural Magazine and Literary Evening Fireside, Volume 1, Number 1. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Rural Magazine and Literary Evening Fireside, Volume 1, Number 1, by Various. Singular Effect of Peruvian Bark. A French merchant at Gaira, named Delpech, in 1806 had occasion to receive several travelers, inhabitants of those countries. The apartments destined for visitors being filled and the number of his guests increasing, he was under the necessity of putting several of them in rooms occupied by cinchona. Each of them contained from 8 to 10,000 pounds of that bark. One of his guests was ill of a very malignant fever. After the first day he found himself much better, though he had taken no medicine, but he was surrounded with an atmosphere of cinchona which appeared very agreeable to him. In a few days he felt himself quite recovered, without any medical treatment whatever. This unexpected success led Monsieur Delpech to make some other trials. Several persons ill of fever were placed successively in his magazine of cinchona, and they were all speedily cured, simply by the effluvia of the bark. In the same place with the cinchona he kept a bale of coffee and some bottles of common French brandy. In some time Monsieur Delpech, when visiting his magazine, observed one of the large bottles uncorked. He suspected at first the fidelity of a servant, and determined to examine the quality of the brandy. What was his astonishment to find it infinitely superior to what it had been. A slightly aromatic taste added to its strength, and rendered it more tonic and more agreeable. Curious to know if the coffee had likewise changed its properties, he opened the bale and roasted a portion of it. It was more bitter and left in the mouth a taste similar to that of the effluvia of bark. The bark which produced these singular effects was fresh. Will the cinchona of commerce have the same efficacy? Oil of pumpkin seed. C.S. Capinescu, Esquire, to Dr. Samuel Mitchell. New York, 20th February, 1819. While I was at Harmony on the banks of the Wabash, in the state of Indiana, last summer, I was told by the industrious German Society, the Harmonites, that instead of throwing away or giving to the pigs the seeds of their pumpkins, as is usually done all over the country, they collected them and made an oil from them which they use for all the purposes of lamp oil and olive oil. It is well known that all the different species and varieties of pumpkins, genus Cucurbita Linnaeus, afford an oil which has valuable medical properties, possessing in the highest degree the refrigerative quality, but I had never heard before of its being made on a large scale and for economical uses. It will be sufficient to mention this fact to some of our enlightened farmers, to induce them to imitate the worthy Harmonites, and I recommend highly the practice, as likely to become eminently beneficial. The pumpkin seeds afford their oil with the greatest facility and abundance. 1 gallon of seeds give about half a gallon of oil. They may be pressed like rape and flaxseed. Their oil is clear, limpid, pale, scentless, and when used for salad instead of sweet oil, has merely a faint insipid taste. It burns well and without smoke. Those advantages entitle it to our attention as an indigenous production of first necessity. Pumpkins grow all over the United States, from Maine to Louisiana, and with such luxuriance as to produce sometimes as much as 50,000 pounds weight of fruits and about 2,000 pounds weight of seeds in 1 acre of Indian corn without injuring the crop of corn. Those 2,000 pounds of seed might produce about 200 gallons of oil, worth about $200. I calculate that about 2 millions of gallons of such oil could be made annually in the United States from the seeds that are wasted or given to cattle and pigs. This is worth saving, and in addition to the bread, pies, soups, dishes, feed, etc., afforded by pumpkins, we shall have a good and wholesome homemade vegetable oil for lamps and food. End of section 13.